Mr. Guo Yezhou, Vice Minister of the International Department of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, and Mr. Zeng Yiqin, Vice Minister of the National Health Commission. They will talk about issues on international cooperation in response to COVID-19 and answer some of your questions. Now I'll give the floor to Vice Minister Ma. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm glad to meet all of you here. And I also would like to take this opportunity to have a discussion exchange with you regarding the issues on international cooperation in response to COVID-19. The coronavirus is threatening the safety and health of the Chinese people, which is also a big challenge to the international public health. General Secretary Xi Jinping leads, direct, and organize the arrangement of the work of epidemic personnel prevention in person, and will take the efforts across the country with the highest attitude to protect the people in China and also across the world. We work together and work united to fight against COVID-19. Nothing short of the most comprehensive, rigorous, and thoroughgoing measures have been taken. Therefore, we have seen a good progress in the epidemic fight. Since the outbreak of epidemic, General Secretary Xi Jinping has attached great importance on international cooperation, and he emphasized on many occasions on cooperation with different countries and WHO. General Secretary Xi also attached the earnest instructions and arrangement on protecting the overseas Chinese, which also gave us a clear direction on international cooperation in response to COVID-19. And General Secretary Xi Jinping also, on invitation, conducted phone conversation with many leaders around the world, also had meetings with the visiting Prime Minister of Cambodia, Inner Mongolia, and the Director General of WHO. Bear in mind, the building a community with a shared future for mankind will not only protect the Chinese people's safety, health, it also should make our contribution to the international public health. And we declare a clear message to win the battle against the COVID-19. WHO Director General said many occasions that General Secretary Xi Jinping leads, directs, and organizes the arrangement of the work of epidemic prevention in person, which showcase a strong leadership. And the head of states around the world also believe that with the General Xi Jinping's leadership, China will for sure win the battle. China is always defined on the front line of the disease. The contribution made by China to the international public health also well recognized by the international community. WHO Director General also said that the strong measures taken by China is not only protect the Chinese people, also the people around the world, which also buy more time for the international community to take actions. The United Nations General Secretary Guterres also saying and commend the actions made by China, and also the Chinese people made a great sacrifice to take actual actions to benefit the people around the world, and also the international community speak highly about China's actions, and also this is also our actual actions to reflect our commitment on building a community with a shared future for mankind. And many leaders around the world that it is admirable about China's resolution. And also, it is well seen that China taking the actions in speed, scale, and efficiency. All of these shows the advantage of China's political system. Adversity reveals true friendship. Amid the epidemic fight, China is not fight by ourselves alone. International community in different ways give us great and treasury support. More than 170 leaders and 140 leaders of international communities give us great support. The ICIO, United Nations, the ASEAN and 77 groups, African Union, all gave us great support and show the confidence in China. Many countries and international institutions and also the public institutions make donations and care to China, which play a key role to help China to fight against the virus. The fight against the epidemic is also a great opportunity for us to practice the community of building a community with a shared future for mankind. We work together with the international community to make contribution and to win the battle against the epidemic. In the spirit of openness, transparency, and as a responsible large community, we make response to all the activities around the world, and we also informed the WHO at the first time about the genetic sequence of the virus, and it received a good feedback of WHO and international community. Not long ago, the WHO China Joint Force conducted inspections in Beijing, Guangdong, Sichuan, and Hubei for a 9-day field visit. The expert panel came up to a conclusion that they fully commended China's thorough and vigorous measures taken to fight against the epidemic, which also buy more time for the international community and provide good learnings and practice to other countries to fight against the COVID-19. Right now, the COVID-19 is spreading around the world. China will continue our endeavor and close communication coordination with WHO and make our contribution to the international community. This is a sudden epidemic. The Chinese government always touch importance to protect the legitimate rights and the interests of the overseas Chinese. For certain countries that take the overwhelming response based on the suggestions given by the WHO, we stand our positions clearly and also conduct the coordination and communication with other countries and make sure the measures taken by certain countries not impact a normal exchange in terms of trade and people-to-people exchange. The overseas embassy and consultants conducted a communication with the people strand Hubei citizens, and we brought more than 1,300 Hubei citizens back home. And also our Japan embassy, the embassy in Japan also cooperated with the Hong Kong ICR government to take the Chinese residents and the Hong Kong ICR residents and the Macau ICR residents from the Diamond Princess cruise back home. I believe this is all practice our commitment to the world. The virus respects no border, but that will not stop the emotion link around the world. We always attach great importance on how to better protect our overseas Chinese in terms of their safety, health, and the Chinese embassies and the foreign affairs ministries always attach great importance in this regard, and also open the hotline. Different places also had the information service available to the foreign citizens in China in different languages. Make sure we can fulfill their needs in terms of safety, daily life needed, and the medical treatment. We treated the foreign citizens as our own citizens, and also the overseas students in China as our own kids. Make sure they can have a safe stay in China. Under the fast-changing international circumstance, China will continue to do a good job on our own affairs and also be responsible to the international measures undertaking around the world, and will also share our best practice and the treatment with other countries, and also we will make an endeavor to exploring the joint prevention and control, and will also exchange information and technologies and the technical support, and we will also conduct the cooperation in different fields such as vaccine development and drugs development. China is a grateful nation. We remember and hold dear every act of support made by different countries. We will also give our due support to different countries if needed. Virus respects no border. We face a common enemy, which is COVID-19. The epidemic once again demonstrates that our interest is closely linked. No country can survive by itself. Facing the epidemic, we should work together, strengthen our cooperation in order to build a community with a shared future for mankind. The Chinese society has been through all kinds of trials and tribulations in its history, but we never bow in front of difficulties. Under the strong leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping, the Chinese people for sure fight together and win the battle against COVID-19. We will for sure protect international public health and deliver the more benefit to the people around the world. Thank you. Now I'll give the floor to Vice Minister Guo. Thank you very much, friend from the media. Since the outbreak of epidemic, the International Department of CPC Central Committee has earnestly implemented the key instructions of CPC Central Committee and General Secretary Xi Jinping, and we will also play our role on the international communication, and we strengthen our communication and coordination with the international community, and also made a clear introduction about our work. And under the unified leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping, people across the world and the PLA together to conduct our work to fight against the epidemic. And we also work closely with the international community and the WHO. And we also focus on the social and economic development. And we also make our contribution to help other countries. The parties and the government in other countries has commended the work made by China and speaking highly about our measures. So far, more than 120 countries, more than 300 parties and party committees, 500 leaders sent messages to General Secretary Xi Jinping, speaking highly about the fight against COVID-19 in China. So we look at it touched great importance by the international community, Latin America, Africa, Asia. The key leaders of parties and countries sent their supporting message to China at the first opportunities, and they also sent the multiple message to us to show their support. So we look at the parties actually from the left, middle, and right. And we also have a party incumbent and the power out of power, the party out of power, signed their support to us. So we talk about they not only sent messages through telegraph, they also made videos to cheer up the Chinese people and China. Some leaders of the party and the country also published the articles on their newspaper to show their support to China. During the phone conversation or the message sent to China, they speak highly about the leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping and its key role in leading the fight against the epidemic. And they talk about General Secretary Xi Jinping's personal leads, directs, and organized arrangement of the work of epidemic prevention also is conducive to the international community and also help the international community to cut off the spread of a virus. And they speak highly about the leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping. They believe it's fully showcased that General Secretary Xi Jinping always put people's health and safety at top priority and always take people in its heart and shoulder his responsibilities. The party leaders also believe that under the strong leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping, China will for sure win the battle against the epidemic in the early date. So in all these messages, the foreign leaders of the parties, they believe the key leadership, deployment, and mobility in China. The Chinese people led by the CPC conducted a high effective and strong measures against the epidemic. The party members always play their key role and rush to the front line and also to create the synergy across the board. The party members, the CPC, always take the leading role and also made the arduous efforts to fight the epidemic. And they also believe that the advantage of the Chinese system always conducive to win the epidemic. They believe in a very short time, and mobilize all available resources, headcounts, which is really hard to do in other countries besides China. The Chinese strength, spirit, and efficiency also receive the recognition around the international community, and they also showcase that the unique feature of the Chinese political system, that we can mobilize all the force and also create that invisible force for fighting against the outbreak, and also the measures taken by the CPC and the General Secretary Xi Jinping also made a good practice and learnings that can be shared across the world. And also to help us to criticize the rumors or the wrong message sent by certain countries. So this is once again demonstrate the commitment made by General Secretary Xi Jinping to build a community with a shared future for mankind, and also our aspiration that we should work together under the solidarity to fight the epidemic, and we believe we can learn from each other and also hold hands together, and we believe we will for sure to win the battle against the epidemic, and building a community with a shared future for mankind will be endorsed by more people. So in the majority countries, the key parties to represent the willingness of people and also the common interests. Communist Party of China always puts the people, the happiness at our top priority. The international department of the CPC is a key part of the China's international landscape in the new era, and also our key job for our department. We believe under the firm leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping and CPC, we will introduce the key achievements made by the CPC Central Committee and the Chinese people, and we will also convey the message that the Chinese economic and social development will continue its stable growth, and we will also create the invisible force and also conduct more cooperation with the international community and WHO, and we will fight together to win the battle against the outbreak, and we will also see a more progress made in building a community with a shared future for mankind. And now I'll give the floor to Mr. Zeng. Friends from the media, good morning. Since the outbreak of the epidemic, General Secretary Xi Jinping leads, directs, and organizes the arrangement of the work of epidemic prevention in person. The National Health Commission also touched great importance in implementation. We have taken active cooperation regionally and internationally. We shared information of epidemic proactively and also shared our experience in terms of diagnosis and treatment with other countries, which receive a good feedback by the international community. We first conduct the cooperation around the world and also to reach a common understanding around the world. We invited the WHO leader to visit China, and General Secretary Xi Jinping also met the leader of WHO and experts around the world, and we also established the WHO China Joint Force and to conduct a field visit to Beijing, Sichuan, Hubei, Wuhan, and Guangdong, so they can know more picture about the epidemic and measures taken by China. That includes the endeavor in epidemic prevention and control, as well as scientific research and development. They also made constructive suggestions to our work. The National Health Committee worked closely with WHO and the Regional Health Committee, and we also received a visit by the health leaders from Egypt, and also received a message from international community. At the press conference, the WHO China Joint Force commended the endeavor made by China to protect the public health around the world. And second, we also conduct a close coordination on scientific research. We review the information with WHO and other institutions at the first opportunity, and also share a whole genetic sequence of the virus, and also work with more than 100 countries and a lot of international institutions, and share with them the technical documents, and also work with the APEC, African Union, the SCIO, and other international regional institutions, as well as Japan, ROK, Russia, Germany, France, United States, Laos, and conducted the expert panel discussion and a remote consultation for more than 20 times. And we also shared our result on the clinical treatment, epidemiology investigation, and diagnosis. Whereas, respect no burden, we should work together to protect people's health around the world. Going forward, we'll continuously, earnestly implement the decision made by CPC Central Committee and State Council, and we will conduct close communication and coordination and the collaboration with WHO, and also share with the international community our information and best practice, and coordinate the epidemic work. On the one hand, we will prevent the disease imported to China, and on the other hand, we will also provide the support to other countries within our capability as a responsible big country, and we will protect the international regional public health in order to build a community with a shared future for mankind. Now the floor is open for questions. CMG CCTV. Would you please summarize what kind of the help provided by international community? Right now, international community also face a quite severe situation in epidemic prevention and control, and what the lesson we can provide it to the international community. In my introduction, I mentioned that after the outbreak of epidemic, China received a support many times by the international community and international institutions. We are grateful for all these actions of kindness. As of March 2nd, 62 countries and 7 international institutions made donations of masks and protective suits and other badly needed medical supplies. We not only talk about numbers, we also have many touching stories. Cambodia, for example, they donate rice to us. Sri Lanka provide agricultural products. Inner Mongolia also gave us 30,000 sheep. And Pakistan basically donated everything they have in stock, give us the masks they have. The adversity reveals true friendship. We will all remember and hold dear every act of support made by the countries around the world. There's a 10-year-old citizen of Mongolia. He gave the 999 RMB and to 3 cities in China, and each place got 333 RMB. He wished that the disease could disappear as soon as possible. And also the Council of Wuhan, sent by ROK, also hailed as heroes in harm's way. I believe all these stories demonstrate that every countries pitch in to support China. China, at the same time, make our own contribution, and we also appreciate all the support and kindness made by the international community. Epidemic is temporary, but the kindness and the cooperation will last long forever. The international community gave us sympathy and support. The Chinese people will bring them all in our heart. At present, the epidemic prevention and control in China has seen some progress, but we're still in a most crucial stage. It's not time for us to relax. The epidemic of COVID-19 in other countries showed a rapid growth and in a fast speed. Some countries right now is facing a severe situation. Under this circumstance, China provide help within our capability to other countries like Pakistan, Japan, African Union, and other countries, provide the testing kits, and also shared our diagnosis and treatment plan to other countries. The China Red Cross and other companies, and also the Chinese government also provide the reagent and kits to Iran, and we also send a group of experts to Iran. Based on the developing situation of the epidemic, we will do a good job in prevention and control of disease in China. We will continue the cooperation with other countries in different ways and provide help to other countries. And we are also willing to work with WHO and other countries, especially the hard-hit countries, to work together, create a synergy to fight against the epidemic. Speaking of this, I would like to emphasize that under the globalization, the fate of countries are entwined. The international community is interconnected. Our interests are closely linked. Facing the epidemic, no country can survive by itself. The challenge to international public health should think about whether we should work together or just wait and see the situation. We should think about whether we should pitch in to help others or take this philosophy of backing the neighbor. The Director General of WHO saying that right now the virus already initiated the war. It's a time for us to work together under the solidarity to fight against the virus. The philosophy initiated by General Secretary Xi Jinping about building a community with a shared future for mankind showcased a common interest and aspiration of the international community, and also in line with the international trend and also trend of time, and also make a response to the international call. This is regardless of the cultural, the social system, and development of countries. This is an international war, which requires the collaboration and cooperation of international community. We will further drive the initiative of building a community with a shared future for mankind, strengthen our international cooperation, and work with other countries to win the battle against the epidemic, and also push forward the development of international public health endeavor. Xinhua News Agency. China WHO Joint Mission released its report and also made suggestions to the work of China and what's our plan in place going forward, especially the cooperation with WHO. We talk about respect knows no border. This is a common challenge facing all countries. The pathogen and the transmission routes and transmission mechanism requires time for us to understand. It's a learning curve for everyone. Right now, we also see a widespread around the world. As Mr. Ma said, no country can survive by its own when facing this epidemic. That's why they record a closer collaboration and cooperation. WHO in this course play its unique role and also irreplaceable role. I believe many of you already read the report released by the China WHO Joint Mission, saying that China facing this unknown novel pneumonia, China have taken a flex, rigorous, efficient measures and also prevent the widespread of the epidemic and also prevent tens of thousands of people infected, and also establish a firm fortress against the epidemic on the front line. And Chinese people also made a great contribution and sacrifice in this regard. Talking about how the international community can learn from China's practice, the Joint Force also gave a quite constructive suggestions, saying that the international community needs China's experience and measures, and they believe China will for sure be recovered from the epidemic. And I also noticed the leader of the international WHO experts, Bruce, said that we should fully recognize the sacrifice made by people in Wuhan. The international community is in your debt, and he also shows that his willingness to visit Wuhan after the epidemic. I believe the WHO organized a group of experts with kindness and responsibilities, made a field visit. Their visit provided a full picture and a comprehensive picture to the international community. That said, the Joint Force mission also pointed out the weakness of our work. I believe that also conducive for us to improve our endeavor going forward. I would like to emphasize that WHO plays a key role in terms of guidance and coordination amid the epidemic. Next, we will continue our close communication with WHO and also report the information about the disease in a timely manner and practice the IHR and also work closely and implement the suggestions given by the emergency response team and the WHO China Joint Force, and also conduct the cooperation with other countries under the framework of WHO. And we will also participate the blueprint cooperation under WHO and shared our disease prevention and control plan and diagnosis protocols. And we will also cooperate with other countries in terms of scientific research and development under the leadership of WHO, and also utilize the platform provided by WHO. We will also offer the technical support to other countries. And in the basis of openness and transparency, we will conduct more cooperation with other countries and share China's experience and plans in a bid to fight against COVID-19 with other countries and made our contribution to the international world. Since the outbreak of the epidemic, WHO as the most professional authority made great efforts in mobilizing the international communities to join the rank and also make actions in scientific development. China speaks highly about the role and contribution made by WHO. At the first opportunity, China took prompt actions and informed the WHO, and also conducted a very timely, quick, swift, and efficient cooperation. At the critical time, the WHO Director General made a visit to China, and General Secretary Xi Jinping also met the WHO leaders. The suggestions made by the expert group in China were touched great importance by the Chinese government, and right now we are implementing the suggestions. Right now, the disease is spreading fast in the global landscape, and we would like to see WHO can produce more international cooperation, especially to help the less developed countries, especially the African countries. So the helps can wait more to these countries. And China will for sure pitch in and play our role and make help and also make contributions to these countries. Workers' Daily. We look at this time, the different forms of parties actually made a suggestion to China, and sometimes we look at the different forms of parties are quite different from the Communist Party of China. So how do you value the message given by the other parties around the world? We talk about this is an infectious disease as a common challenge to the people around the world. We should work together with the different parties in different forms. We talk about the mobilizing the society, the forces, strengths, reflect the different system of parties. The Communist Party of China, especially the feature of socialism with Chinese characteristics, demonstrate its strengths this time. That also the spoken highly by other parties around the world. They commended China's leadership. At first, they talk about the leadership, especially General Secretary Xi Jinping played the core role and demonstrated its strong leadership in this epidemic. The one party from Europe sent the message to us that the General Secretary Xi Jinping leads, directs, and organizes arrangement of the work of epidemic in person. We set a new benchmark to the leaders around the world, and the Chinese government in a really short time conducted effective and swift measures to contain the virus. And also the other party leaders saying that they believe under a strong leadership of CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, the Chinese people will for sure win the battle against epidemic. Second, they also talk about the political system or mechanism. In the message sent by the leaders of the different parties, talk about the scientific research and development, construction of the mobile makeshift hospitals, and the mobilizing the resources across country, and they admire the implementation and the mobilizing capacity across the world. They also believe this is the advantage of the political system. They talk about they also actually a fan of the live streaming of construction of Huoshishan hospitals, and he actually watched the live streaming started from the end of January. And third, they also talk about they noticed the role played by the party members, especially at the community level. They're talking about the exemplary the role of a party committee, which is quite impressive. They talk about party members always rush to the front line and also showcase the common party member follow the order and the guidance given by the CPC Central Committee, and also the key strengths and the force and the power of the political system. We talk about we have our confidence to the leadership of CPC. It's not only rely on the good words given by the other parties around the world, but their kind word also demonstrate that with the great leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping, give everyone the confidence, and also it's a correct choice made by the Chinese people who choose the Communist Party to lead the country. And they also talk about the key decision is right in time to further reform the socialism with Chinese characteristics. We talk about many party leaders send their message to us. They talk about the first, give us the support from the political and moral system, and they also make donations in cash, materials, and events to show their actual support. Some countries within their party who make a donation in cash or supplies. Some parties mobilize the different forces across walks of life to support China. Some parties also conducted the campaign in their country, praying for China, so making donation on site. And they also donated the medical supplies such as the masks and the protective suits, and also in cash. I have a long list. We talk about it's not the numbers, not important. More important, what is important? Their support actually reflects their candidates and also people's willingness and aspiration, and also their confidence in the Communist Party of China and the Chinese government. And also, they shows their decisive choice to work with China and work with the Communist Party to fight together against the epidemic. Right now, we look at the epidemic is spreading around the world, and we will for sure support the other countries and the parties in other countries and work closely with them to share our experience gained from our endeavor. And we will also give support to other countries and the parties in their countries, and to demonstrate the building of a community with a shared future for mankind through our actual actions. From Japan, right now we're looking at the situation outside China is facing a quite severe situation. The Beijing, Shanghai, Guangdong also conduct certain restrictions. So what kind of restrictions will be taken by the Chinese government? I believe many foreign journalists are quite keen to know about the answers. We talk about the virus knows no borders. In order to curb the spread of the virus, many countries conduct different measures and restrictions. Under the circumstance, the different provinces in China, in accordance with the laws and regulations and the needs of epidemic prevention and control, as well as of a developing situation around the world, they have conducted certain checkings and quarantine measures for the people traveling outside China. So different provinces have different practice in line with their actual situations. Some areas take body temperature, some areas require a 14 days quarantine at home or in a centralized place. All these measures in line with the laws and regulations of China. This is the need of the epidemic prevention and control, and also effectively to curb the spread across countries. This is a responsible behavior to protect the health and safety of the Chinese people and also to protect our international friends. And also conducive to the prevention and control endeavor around the world. The local government will also make a flexible and timely measures protecting the people traveling outside China. So this is based on the development of the disease spreading situation, and the local government will make that dynamic changes in their policies. We treat the Chinese people and the foreign friends on an equal footing. We will conduct the measures equally, and we will also for sure take consideration of the legitimate rights and interests, and also provide needed protections. So far, the measures taken by China has effectively curbed the spread of the virus and also contain human-to-human transmission, which is recognized by WHO. I hope the international friends can understand and cooperate the measures taken by China in different provinces and work with China to mitigate the risk imposed by the virus in order to do a good job to protect themselves and also other people. Beijing Youth Daily. Ms. Mar just introduced, and we have taken more than 1,300 stranded Chinese citizens back home, and we still have many overseas Chinese in the hard-hit countries. How will we better protect these group of people? After the outbreak, we have made all-out efforts to contain the virus. At the same time, we also attach importance to the safety and health of our overseas Chinese. The difficulties they are facing caused by the virus also in our concern. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other relevant departments, we talk about the CAC, the migration authorities, Ministry of Education, worked together to help overseas Chinese, and the embassies and consulates have implemented the decisions made by the Chinese government. to protect the Chinese people overseas in terms of their safety and health. We help the stranded Hubei citizens back home, and we also help the SAR government to take the residents on the Diamond Princess cruise back home. I will not repeat myself. And more importantly, we will also educate the overseas Chinese to protect themselves well. The overseas Chinese embassies and the consulates work closely with the Chinese companies union and the students union closely. And also conduct different ways and channels to learn the pictures of the situation, and also organize the lectures and also issue the handbook to raise the awareness of the overseas Chinese to better protect themselves. The confirmed or suspected cases of the Chinese citizens, the embassies and the consulates follow up closely the treatment and provide all necessary support, and also work with the local health authorities to treat the Chinese citizens. We look at many of the suspected or confirmed cases of Chinese citizens right now treated and discharged from the hospitals. Regarding the cases in the Diamond Princess cruise, the Chinese embassy to Japan the first opportunities made a visit to the hospitals and also bought the needed prescriptions for the elderly people of Chinese citizens. We talk about the hospital actually admitted, and many passengers from different countries from the cruise. The Chinese embassy was the first one visit the citizens. And we also opened the hotlines 1238, 12308 around the clock to receive the phone calls made by the overseas Chinese in response to their difficulties. We received more 1,100 hotline requirements daily. The discrimination cases happened in certain countries with large firm representation to the certain countries. Talk about the overseas students, which is also a large group of Chinese citizens. We also work closely with the schools and education authorities, and also help to deal with the difficulties faced by the Chinese overseas students in terms of school opening. So it's fair to say that we provide a comprehensive all-round support to the Chinese overseas, and we will also continue our endeavor in this regard and implement the care of the CPC Central Committee in our action. Xinjiang news from ROK. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of China had a phone conversation with his counterpart in ROK regarding the progress made in the scientific research and development in terms of vaccine and drug development. So what's the achievement so far? First of all, we will always remember every act of support and kindness provided by ROK and people across life. In these days, we are seeing that the ROK is facing a severe situation in epidemic prevention and control. We understand your situation, and China will give a full support to the ROK government and its citizens. We conducted quite a close communication. State Councilor Wang Yi had a phone conversation with the Foreign Minister of ROK. And they talked about the cooperation of the drug development and epidemic prevention and control measures. The Chinese government will provide a badly needed medical supplies to ROK in a short time period. And also, actually, we have seen some companies already made donations or will make donations to the hard-hit areas such as Daegu in ROK. And this is our endeavor, and we'll also strengthen our work in this regard. And we'll also communicate with ROK regarding joint prevention and control. We need to work together in order to effectively curb the spread of virus across borders. So we will strengthen our cooperation in terms of the migration, customs, quarantine, and we will exchange more information, collaboration, and also establish a platform to exchange the information and make discussions. And we will also provide a guidance in terms of the arrangement of the work of epidemic prevention. We hope we can conduct our action in a coordinated way so to prevent the virus spreading across borders. We are working in this regard. We will also strengthen our close communication with ROK. Just now, Mr. Ma introduced a all-round cooperation between China and ROK. I'll give you more information in the health sector. The cooperation between ROK and China and ROK is practical and effective. Since the outbreak, the two sides have kept a close communication and also conducted many cooperation in the health sectors and the scientific research and development. The CDC and the Health Commission in two sides have swiftly exchanged information. And we also conducted a video conference along with a group of experts from both sides. And we also had a hotline available between the leaders of the Health Commission. And we also shared a technical support guidance to the counterpart in ROK regarding diagnosis and treatment protocols. The spreading of virus is still developing, and we will work together with a focus on spreading across the border. That is why we would like to establish a joint prevention and control mechanism between the both sides. And we have one mechanism that is regarding the Health Commission, and we also have the infectious disease symposium, and we also have the CDC hotline platform. So we will play all these platforms in terms of the drug vaccine development and the experience sharing to better protect the people and deliver the benefit to the people in both sides and people around the world at large. CRCMG for the International Department of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China. What functions have you played amid the epidemic? Thank you for your question and also the support to our work. Under the unified leadership of the CPC Central Committee, we established a leading group in response to the epidemic prevention and control. And we earnestly studied the instructions made by General Secretary Xi Jinping in the premise of a well-arrangement of protections of ourselves. And we also conduct actively with other parties around the world to deeply introduce the measures taken by China under the leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping and also convey the message and determination to win the battle against the epidemic. And China is ready to work with other countries to protect the international public health. First, we like the party to take a leading role and also like the other parties know a correct and full picture of the role made by the CPC and also the work carried out in China. We also conduct a good communication and the coordination with other countries through different means, and also opened a WeChat account in English to introduce the key decisions made by CPC Central Committee and General Secretary Xi Jinping, and also introduce the CPC always touch importance and put the priority of people's health and safety, and also talk about how we can better build a community with a shared future for mankind, and also talk about the measures, actions, and progress gained by the interagency mechanism. And also we introduce the healing stories happened on the front line. By doing so, the parties around the world strengthen their confidence in China to resolutely win the battle against COVID-19. And second, we also have conveyed the supporting message from the outside world to the Chinese people, and also work with some of our media friends presented here today to report the supporting message in an objective and comprehensive manner, such as the CCTV, Xinhua News Agency, and we make reported more than 30 times regarding the message and support given by the leaders of other countries and the party leaders as well. And we also release timely the information, the video clip, articles on our WeChat account, the new media account, to further strengthen the solidarity of the people. And third, we also make the cooperation with the other parties further. Through the communication, we conduct our normal communication with other countries in a sound way, and also shared our experience in terms of the diagnosis and treatment and disease prevention. And we also prepared ourselves to receive the visits made by the leaders and party leaders from the international community, and also to reach consensus on epidemic prevention and control. Thank you. Kyoto News Agency, Japan. So we talk about some DA projects under the framework for one DA Belt and Road Initiative may be postponed because of the epidemic. What's the actions China will take in this regard? First of all, after the outbreak of the epidemic, many friends along the route have provided the support in different ways. They also showed their confidence and commitment to continue the cooperation with China under the framework of Belt and Road initiatives. China, on the other hand, have also made the donations to the other friends along the route with the badly needed medical supplies, such as we make donations to Pakistan. All these proved that the vitality and prosperity of the initiatives, and will for sure to win the battle against COVID-19. We believe the impact caused by the epidemic to the Belt and Road Initiative projects is temporary and short-lived. We will continue to work with other countries to construct the projects in a quality manner. We have full confidence in this regard. According to the report released by WHO, more than 70 countries had confirmed cases of COVID-19 patients. Going forward, China will do a good job to protect itself, and what kind of the technical support were provided by China to fight against COVID-19 together with other countries. Thank you for your question. As our two vice ministers introduced, many countries after the outbreak of epidemic have lent a helping hand to China to fight against COVID-19. Talking about the technical perspective, China has worked with the European Union, African Union, WHO, has established a close communication mechanism. Under this mechanism, we open-minded and shared information in terms of diagnosis, treatment, and epidemic prevention and control. Going forward, we will continue to strengthen our cooperation with other countries in terms of technical measures to better prevent and control the virus. First, we will provide the technical guidance, the updated ones, to the international community. Right now, we have the fifth edition of disease prevention and control measures and the 7th edition of diagnosis and treatment protocols. And we will share all this information in a swift manner. And second, we will continue to conduct the different ways of conference through the videos and telephones to conduct discussions among experts and shared the technical support and experience draw on the epidemic. And yesterday, our group of doctors and academicians in English shared their experience, their feelings in epidemic prevention and control and treatment to the international correspondent. And the China CDC and the Chinese Red Cross and other health institutions will send the group of experts to conduct a further cooperation and will also conduct the professional training. We talk about how to better get the accurate samples. Actually, that's really technical part. How to get the sample of the patients, how to examine the samples. You want to test the antibody or the pathogen, what you really want to get from the sampling test. Actually, we had a lot of experience accumulated in this regard. And China is willing to share the information with other countries in order to improve the capability of professional practitioners in disease prevention and control. I believe through the cooperation, we will provide help to other countries. I would like to add some words. Indeed, some countries has made the requirement to us for help. First is the testing reagents and kits. Second, the medical supplies such as thermometer, protective suits. Third, the medicine. Fourth, the experience and lessons accumulated by China. As we just introduced, we already provided the testing reagent and kits. The companies, the provincial authorities, the Chinese Red Cross also made the donation to other countries. And we also sent a group of experts to Iran. Going forward, and we will put forward our work to help ROK, Cambodia, Sri Lanka. At the same time, we also consider to make donation to WHO in response to the call made by WHO. And we will release the information in a timely manner. There are many countries made the requirement to China for help, actually offered their help to China before. I believe that for sure it's our turn to pay back, as Chinese saying going, that you throw a peach to me, I give you a white jade for friendship. It's our time to pay back. Due to the interest of time, 2 last questions. China Daily. In China, especially Hubei province, there are a lot of foreign friends in China, and you have introduced that the Chinese government always touch importance to protect the health and safety of the foreign citizens in China. What's the actions have we taken in this regard? As I just introduced, the Chinese government not only attached importance to the safety and health of the Chinese people, we also have done the same thing to the foreign citizens in China. Since the outbreak of the epidemic, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with related ministries and localities have provided different kinds of support to the foreign citizens in China in terms of medical treatment and the daily necessity. On top of that, we also help them to know better about the epidemic situation and the information. Like our friends from Japan, sometimes it's quite hard for our foreign friends to understand the information, especially the updated information about the epidemic. So we have the information platform available in different languages, so they can know the full picture and feel safe. And we also have the hotlines available, so if they have any questions or difficulties, they can make a phone call to us. And we also worked with the embassies of foreign countries in China. So if they face any difficulties, they always can seek help to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The majority of foreign citizens in China, they live in a very safe environment in China, and they work normally. We also have some good practice. For example, the local authorities have also taken the foreign residents in their community level endeavors. We not treat them as the foreign citizens. We treat them as the Chinese citizens. So we treat everyone on the equal footing, like the Hubei province. They have also emphasis on the treatment on foreign patients. Based on the maxim of the differentiated treatment and a great style management, we should do a good job to protect and treat the foreign citizens. The foreign citizens also spoke highly about the efforts made by the Chinese government. The overseas students in China from Yemen and other countries saying that this is a safe place, I'm not worried, or they're saying that the foreign students always protected by the Chinese government. I love China. And in Nanchang University, a student from Yemen, and he sent a message in the circle of friends on WeChat. He said, I'm a foreign friend, a foreign person in China, but I'm not an outsider facing the epidemic. So also we have students saying that there's no panic, we feel safe. So once again, we would like to emphasize that we treat foreign citizens and Chinese citizens equally. A touching story, like I showed a picture here, from Pakistan and Mauritius. They of their own accord made a quarantine and health check in Wenzhou. So they also make their contribution and play a role in China's epidemic prevention and control. Last question. China News Agency. The Communist Party of China had a good relationship and communication with other parties. Some of these international institutions made support to China. As you mentioned in your question, the Circle Front of Communist Party of China cover a large range of audience. We have a quite active communication and a wide scope of fronts in different countries and different parties. So that's not only the incumbent parties and also the influential parties, and as well as the international institutions. So far, we have received the international institutions from Africa, from Asia, and from Europe. Sending the letters or telegram to China to show their support. The international institutions actually cover a large group. Talk about the organization, that's the Asian Political Parties Union, seeing that they represent more than 52 parties. On behalf of these 350 parties in 52 countries, they show a supporting voice to China, and we believe that under the leadership of General Secretary Xi Jinping, Chinese people for sure will win the battle against COVID-19. The Latin American Party Committee and the left party union, on behalf of the party members or the members in the union, also showed the active support and commend the achievements made by China. I believe all these international institutions or party unions showed that we actually belong to one family and we should build a community with a shared future for mankind. The Communist Party of China will continue our communication with these international institutions. That's for today's press conference. Thank you all.